I like to greet all human beings all around the world with a universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you're the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you're the toughest to the weakest person on this earth. I greet all of you all the same, whether you're light-skinned or dark-skinned. Peace and the blessings of God be with you. Tonight happened to be August the 22nd, 2019. It's Thursday, 9:36 p.m. If you haven't watched my YouTube videos, Charleston, Missouri, Mississippi County legal system has failed me and my family and I, part 1 and part 2. Watch it. This is part 3. I told you all about how they've been doing my family and I. Told you how they did my 2 daughters when they was barely 1 and 2 years old. Right in this same spot, but it was a bed here at the particular time. Their mother was out in the streets for 72 hours using heroin and crack. She left out May the 16th of 2008 at about 1 o'clock. The very next day, because I had to stay home from work, the very next day on May the 17th, 2008, I went down to the police department and made a police report. And I have these documents. The police officer that I made it to at the particular time, he's the captain at the sheriff department right now, here in Mississippi County, Barry Morgan. I made the report to him. I told him that she was missing. I told him her history of using narcotics, told her how long she had been gone, and he told me to go ahead home. He took the report. I still had a report. The very next day, about May the 18th, 2008, somebody called me and told me that they seen my children's mother. Now remember, I put a missing person on the 17th, the very next day when she didn't come home for 24 hours. She already had 2 children in Chicago that was taken from her because they was addicted with heroin and crack. And we have a 1 and 2 year old at the house. She abandoned us to go out there to get the crack and the heroin. But anyway, when they told me that they seen her in one of the housing projects on Gale, I called the police officer. Now, you kind of look at always the police officers that's dealing with my case and then dealing with these people, black people that's getting murdered in the jail and murdered on the streets. Percy Owens happened to come. Now, this is May the 18th of 2008. Him and a white officer respond on Gale Street. I tell him which house she in. He already know the situation. She's supposed to be missing. Now, he tell me she grown. She can do what she want to do, and he wasn't going in the house. I was trying to get it for my records because I know how she'll plot, and I know how these people apply because I've been going up against multi-million-dollar corporations here in Charleston, Missouri, and going up against the prejudiced whites and the sellout blacks. But anyway, this was about 6:30 p.m. About a little bit after 12 midnight on May the 19th, I remember it real good for a couple of reasons. Because they took my children out here illegally, and that's one of my mentors' birthday, Malcolm X. May the 19th, a few minutes after midnight, somebody knocked at the door. Midnight, my children's laying here asleep, barely 1 and 2 years old. Here it is, their mother been gone since May the 16th. Now listen to this real good, y'all. Those of y'all that study criticizing me. And you could see If it was you, you might have caught a murder, but God guides me. That's why I'm setting this here out, but why me and my daughters and my daddy is planning to move from up out of this town. But anyway, come to the door. It's Percy Owens and a white police officer. He used to be the manager over there in, after he left the police department. He was the manager for a while over there in Lambert's Cafe in Sykes in Missouri. But they said he recently quit. When they came in here, they had her, the mother with her. Now remember, she been gone since the 16th. This the 19th. Percy Owens told me that Judge Brown gave her an expose now. What judge giving somebody an expose 11, 12 o'clock at night? An expose to get the children and to keep the house. Now, I told him I'm not giving her these children because I know she out there on heroin and her history. If she didn't care about these children, she gone for 3 days and 3 nights. And I told them I'm not giving it to a Percy Owens, Sergeant Percy Owens, the only black that stayed on the force. All the other blacks with good sense, they left. All the white police just about left. He pulled his gun on me and told me to sit down. He didn't want no trouble. Tears came in my eyes because I looked at my little babies. They woke them up. They crying. Now, if they finna take children, remember, anybody with common sense, whether you're black or white, DCF will be involved. DCF had nothing to do with it. Because if DCF wasn't involved, they wouldn't have gave it to a heroin, crack addict female that had been out in the streets for 3 days. Listen to me. Let me lower my voice down a little bit. But it makes you upset. But anyway, they woke my babies up and she telling them, go to Uncle Percy. Percy ain't no kin to my children. I look at Percy like I look at a Ku Klux Klan, but even worse, because he's a black with a badge, which he shouldn't have the badge because he don't have the education to get the badge. All you got to do is see. You will never see him in the courtroom because he can't write a report. They letting him stay on there so he can have blacks, like when they killed G Unit or killing somebody other black, they can have him to be there to say, oh, he was attacking us. But anyway, I told them, I said, God gonna deal with y'all. This is what the white police officer told me. He said, Raymond, I don't have nothing to do with this. He said, I'm doing what my supervisor telling me to do. In other words, he was following orders. Gave me the expose. They took my children out. Expose had a fax thing in it saying it was faxed to the sheriff's department at 11 something at night. And they come a little bit after midnight to get it, to get my children. Everybody in this town know that she was out in the street. All law enforcement officials. You see, the law enforcement officials in this town didn't care. You know why they didn't care? Because it was Raymond, a black man that's standing up against this injustice, that ain't scared to say that these white supremacists and black house or sellout blacks, ignorant sellout blacks, is running this town and trying to shut up or silence a person like me. But I went down to that police station. I called down there, brother, and I asked Percy Owens, is there a police report made on me? He said no. But the expose saying that I was abusing the mother in places where you can't see. That's what they got people like Brenda Bedford. She writes false reports or don't write reports anyway. Why didn't they have a lady, female officer, check the body? They had a black female that worked there at the time. She had good sense and quick. You see what I'm saying? But no police report. Then I talked to Robert Hearns. I said, how did y'all let her come in here and take my children? You see what I'm saying? And she was in the street. This was Bobby Hearns told me. He said, I didn't have nothing to do with it. That was DCF. That's a damn lie. DCF, excuse me, y'all. Let me take it back. That's a lie because DCF didn't have nothing to do with it. DCF didn't come in here with him. But that same officer, you know what he did? He quit. That's to show you how they operate. He quit. But 70 days later, I got my daughters and them back. It was in Chicago in the streets. My one that just turned 2-year-old, you see how small her arm was? Her arm was broke. Her arm was broke. This is proof here. You see that cast? Same one. You see that if you can't see it now? But let me tell you about them in that school when they let a white bus driver do something to my daughter. You see what I'm saying? I signed a contract with the so-called hero that they have in the newspaper, Irvin Johnson, who was the transportation director for the Charleston R1 school district. I signed a contract with him and the white female Tammy Brock, who was the principal for the elementary school. That my then 5-year-old daughter would ride on the bus with her 6-year-old sister because she was having problems on the bus in the Charleston R1 school district. And my children ain't the only one that been having problems. I ain't the only one took mine out of that racist, unjust school that don't protect black children. Anyway, when this bus driver, they let this bus driver be in the bus by herself with my baby. Now these is they backpacks that they had then. My 5-year-old, she was 60 pounds at the time. This white bus driver, he picked her up by this loop. The school sent her to the bus by herself. What school gonna send a 5-year-old to a bus by themselves with a man? I don't care if you white or black. Even with a woman. The thing was, when she got out of school at 2:45, she supposed to went to the office, sit in there until the 1st to the 5th grade get out, and she go in there with her sister. This was the thing. But you see this? I'm gonna show you mine. And you see this? Nothing told. This bus driver, grown man from Arkansas, he ran back to Arkansas. They didn't file no charges. They didn't even do no investigation. You notice this here? This here is gone. It broke. In this part here, it was hanging like that. So to try to cover up, he took her on the bus. He was the agriculture teacher for the high school too. But whatever you have in the agriculture room, you keep it in there. When you on the bus with the elementary children, you don't have knives or gun or nothing like that there. If you were teaching hunting, you don't have a shotgun on the thing. But he had a knife in the compartment. My 5-year-old told me this here. Soon when she got off the bus. You see that missing? What he did was, it was on her back. He put on the front of the bus, the front seat. He went in the compartment and got a pocket knife out now. And while this was still on her back, what child wouldn't be afraid? He in the back of her, by her neck, cut this off and put it in his pocket. What did he put it in his pocket for? Because he thought she wasn't going to tell. My kids is not no ignorant black kids. My kids is not programmed to this white ran system here in Charleston, Missouri. My kids, you see what I'm saying, are educated Ivies. I-V-Y that is. You see what I'm saying? We're not afraid of y'all. You blacks that call yourself educators here didn't mention nothing, didn't even speak up for us. All you, the NAACP, both president past, all these black preachers, with the exception of a couple, may 2 of them rest in peace. They spoke up. But let me tell you, the school didn't pay for the backpack, for the damage to the backpack. The school didn't even make a police report now. The superintendent was concerned. He asked the resource officer, is there going to be a police report made on our employee? See, the school was negligent when they sent her to the bus by themselves. They tried to say that they had an aide walk her to the bus. Let me show you how ignorant they is. My children are smarter than them. They so ignorant, they said they had an aide walker to the bus. If they had an aide walker to the bus, why in the heck didn't that aide stop that bus driver from picking my baby up? When he picked her up, it broke. Brenda Bedford said that my baby told her that she wasn't afraid. If my baby wasn't afraid, she wouldn't have came home and told me. You see what I'm saying? If my baby wasn't afraid, she wouldn't still be seeing a licensed white psychologist out of Jackson, Missouri, who agree 100% with me that that bus driver shouldn't have never been left alone with my daughter. But let me tell y'all, it ain't over with. It took David Robertson 18 years to prove that that guy Blake, that Detective Blake in Sikeston, Missouri, falsified that case that kept him in the prison for 18 years. I'm finna get him back. Wait till y'all see this lawsuit. Peace be still.